Bless up, bless up, bless up. Blessings. Welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life. I'm your host, Jerome Sage Butler. It's another beautiful, wonderful day right here in the beauty of the jewel of the Caribbean, Jamaica, land of wood and water, right? Land of wood and water. Hey, lots of love, lots of blessings, lots of salutations. Want to give thanks for my nephew, Shamar, just a blessed young man, a champion athlete at his high school here in Jamaica, close to where we are, right? Want to big up the students of Papine High School. Yes, and he's on his way to mighty things, yeah? Blessings to his mother as well, my younger sister, Phoebe. Blessings and love, once again. Reasonings right at the Tree of Life. And today in particular, I guess I was a little nostalgic, earlier, and I was thinking to myself, well, I ought to bring forward something from Tree of Life into the prospectus, into the perspective of all these reasonings we do, right? So one of the first thing I want to bring into the prospectus, into the perspective, is an offering that, was a part of Organic Arts Jamaica or Tree of Life, but the company at Tree of Life that I was a part of is called Organic Arts Jamaica. And as a matter of fact, Organic Arts Jamaica used, unique self-therapy to actualize, to help individuals actualize their most divine, their most sacred self for the purpose-filled nature of experience, the purposeful nature of existence. So, one of the offerings that I am going to share with you from Organic Arts Jamaica, from the old mantra of Tree of Life, is access to, possession, and benefit. Now, I'll lay it out in a little, but first, I just want to give thanks to all the Tree of Life members, scattered in the many life forms, into the many life experiences that is currently happening on the plane at this moment as we speak. Want to give thanks for, those of us who always gathered, at the Tree of Life itself, and for those who came in every so often into the connections we made into our own little ventures and paraventures out there into the experience, traveling around, sometimes up on the mountain. So this is for Tree of Life people. Shout out to Tree of Life people. I guess it was about time that I made a circle and come forward around on Tree of Life Television Network to bring about something that was wholly and is wholly a part of the Tree of Life experience. And so it is my pleasure to present to you, access to possession and benefit. My original philosophy that I created around Organic Arts Jamaica right there at Tree of Life. Access. You know what the word means? It means to be granted the privilege of entrance, access, being allowed into the presence of whatever is desirable, whatever one thinks is one's destiny, one's outcome. Access to possession and benefit. What is possession? What is benefit? Those are functions, manifestations of access. So let's examine access. We live in a world, individuals we are talking about, and collectively live in a world that's pre-designed. We are educated and taught the modules, right? The whole design structure of this system. And as we've been taught this design structure of the system, we kind of want to get into a process, a function. We want access to functionality and to what functionality brings at its highest level. Success, well-being, wealth, health, and all the things that come along with the whole essence of being highly functional within this construct of reality. We want to be a part of what works. So access is what education is all about. It's what socialization is all about. You want to be in the in crowd. You want to be in the socialite crowd. You want to be in the sorority, the fraternity crowd, the crowd that's moving to some place that is desirable, that is highly venerable and respected, and gives one a sense of absolute belonging. We all want access to these simplicities, yet complexities and functionalities of human life. We are manifesting this access through the portals and the manifest forms of the beneficial or the possessive, possession and benefit. The possessive consciousness is the consciousness that through the function of the ambitious through access wants then to be owner of experience, controller, master, boss lady, boss man of experience of the existence. Possession is the owners of the establishment, or the perceived owners of the establishment. The very essence of why people seek access to possession is for the fulfillment of living in the ultimate idea of being the master of all the multiform functions in the outer realms, in the outer world, in the outer realms, and one be the very center of it, not just in consciousness, but in function. One wants to possess a piece of the Jamaican, the American dream. We want to own the enterprise. So a lot of individuals are educating themselves, are being educated along that process of being an owner of a piece of the rock of our existence. And so these barons of creation, these barons of self-made desires and self-made images of aggrandizement are the modules through the possessive context, the possessed universe, the possessive way of thinking. Now let's examine deeper possession. Now, in the spiritual language, even Spiritism, possession means that something takes hold of the living entity and is possibly maneuvering through that living entity an existence or an experience contrary to the living entity. Hallelujah. So, to have possession is to be possessed of things. So, in the spiritual context, one doesn't just possess things, but one is possessed of things. There is a almost magnetic attraction that comes to individuals, to the things that are possessive of their time and attention. Now, sometimes these things are human, but sometimes these things are human designed things. Sometimes these are ways of consciousness that literally will not let you go. Sometimes there are things that we've designed to actualize forms of human consciousness. The possessive, the possessed way of living is the deep concentration and attachment to things that fills one's experience, that fills up one's existence. So possession is not just an entity taking control of your mind. It's also a state of thinking, a state of behavior that is taking you outside of your natural, organic, God-given way of experience, of existence, but to have and to be a part of what is desirable is the function of the possessive thinking. It's hard for someone who was paid, let's say, 450,000 US dollars for a car to see someone who they deem a vagrant trying to lean upon their car, trying to, feel comfortable upon the exterior, the posterior of their car. That drives them crazy. In the modern design societal constructs, they'll call the cops. They'll get boisterous. They might even pull a firearm. They are so possessed of their material things That the very essence of touching it, hallelujah, is touching them. You're getting my argument now. I can feel it. The very essence of trying to fix your hair, ladies, in the reflection of the car window, or even more personal, in the mirror, triggers a psychotic behavior in these owners. They'll almost hurt you. They are possessed of these things. These things have possessed them. Their consciousness is so wrapped up in these things that actually their lives are invested so much into these design constructs of the human mind that have been actualized as these cars, these apartments, these 500k companies, these jobs that they've invested their whole lives into. The possessive consciousness have them feeling not just that they're the owner of the rock, but actually like they are the rock. And they carry the anxieties of those who are single-minded in that approach. Because when others occupy what is naturally their space too, they offend these rock barons, these overlords of power and possession. They don't like people who are in the free enterprise, who are in it for the benefit. So we're going to look at benefits, and then we're going to look deeper into the beneficial enterprise. And we're going to come back forward and look at also the negatives deeper into the possessive consciousness. So we talked about the possessive consciousness. Let's equate, let's balance. Equanimity as achieved through the beneficial consciousness. Now, I can hear some people say, oh, he's going to go into some, free-minded, freeloading. Ooh, nah. The beneficial enterprise is nature itself. It is Kore, God's creation. It is a harmonious enterprise that has not an overlord. Its functionaries are the very process and procedures of experience, well-being, and the functions thereof. So, what do I mean? We are born through the conception of male and female. We are nurtured, engendered in the environment of life. If we follow the seasons, the animals, the deep divine inclination that the natural organic existence as awoken, clearly evidently shown us, clearly manifests, then we see a symbiosis. And the symbiosis without overlord or overlords is a system of shared, caring enterprise and interest. Everything works in the vegetative universe, in the vegetative consciousness, in the living cosmos, because it's alive to sustain the life thereof. There's no measure of imbalance between the activities in the mineral kingdom and the activities in the human consciousness. They're all interrelated. The vibrational environment harmonizes to the very concepts of human thinking, music, dance. The very essence of movement is in the correlative of being in sync with life itself. It is all beneficial, wholly beneficial. So what is the essence of the beneficial enterprise? The beneficial enterprise is working together for the maintenance of the divine law, the harmony. We call it divine law because we've had so much concepts of what is functional and what is dysfunctional. So the divine law suggests we keep the construct of harmony as it is gleaned from our environment. And then the psychological comes in and actualizes upon the evidence-based left brain thinking. So our spirituality shows us the higher purpose of this constancy of harmonization that's in the beneficial enterprise. What affects you affects me. So when you do things wholly for your own benefit with the detriment of the environment as the end result, not only have you suffered the environment, you've suffered individuals in the environment, and by extension, you will eventually suffer yourself. So the essence is of the beneficial enterprise to see the symbiotic, the harmonal, the communal nature of experience when businesses, when social construct as maybe libraries, community centers, whatever these constructs within the social enterprise are, they reflect this same beneficial harmonization within the construct of, again, commercial businesses. Do businesses for the benefit of the well-being of life, of the human life, of the life of the animals, of the life of the plant, flora and fauna, duly considered as a part of the human life. So, for benefit enterprises, look at more of the greater good, the bigger picture, and how it is that the bigger picture is inclusive of all of us. That the bigger picture isn't a singular vision for some individual and individuals in their groupings to feel special in the denigration and really the annihilation in some contexts of harmony. The very essence of life is about unifying because we've been so splintered by the misconcepts of form. And how it is that when we are so into our form, right, we become possessed of our form, possessed of the desires which roam wild and rampant within the form. The beneficial enterprises teaches us to truly share the resources of the environment equally for the grand and good outcome, just like nature, just like Yahuwah intended it and has created it so to be. Hallelujah. So it doesn't matter where you find yourself within the reality. The beneficial enterprise is the natural enterprise. It's a godly. It is the symbiosis of living beings. So as we go further, let us, examine in relatable contexts the benefits of the beneficial enterprise as well as the possessive enterprise, the enterprise of possession. And remember, right here at Reasonings at the Tree of Life, we're talking about access to possession and benefit, right? And this is one of my working philosophies, a part of Organic Arts Jamaica. So we're going to look at first, again, the negatives of possessive thinking, the very essence of possession, access to possession. Now, we're going to use two examples. We're going to use a personal example, like in the context of family, and then we're going to use an example in the context of business to just bring the argument across. Okay, first, context of family. Highly successful, working, more Hebrew Israelite, across the plain. Black man, indigenous man, working class to the successful, highly successful, both in mentality and in attitude, owns a very nice piece of property. On said property, there is very nice dwelling, a very nice home. As a part of the very process and function of that home, he has a very nice vehicle. And he goes to very upscale, upstanding places. Beautiful picture. Here, the dichotomy of the negative of the possessive consciousness. He says, I am highly successful because all of the work I have done. You see this roof over your head, children, my wife? My years of hard labor and toil has made this possible. The car you drive, the car I drive, though the model she drives is not really, upstanding as the model he drives, but it's not low, so they would look down on his wife. The car you drive, I pay for that. The fine schools our children go to, I pay for that. I have worked my entire life to secure this. I do not want to feel uncomfortable when I'm in my home. This is my home. You're my family. I have earned this. Look out there, my name is on so many buildings. Streets are named after me. You get the picture. So what's wrong, you say? He's just talking the truth. Here's the issue. The I, the self, it's so dominant. He's possessed of things. Things are possessed of him. His wife is a possession. His kids is a possession. You know, you say, well, it's a way of thinking. He's a businessman. He's making deals that's worth 100 million. Yeah, exactly. And so the way the mind is structured is towards a possessive enterprise. So everything has to go like commodities. It has to find its place within the structure of the function of himself, the I, and it could be herself, the she. You understand? And so this issue of the experience now is about him, about her. That's all it is about. So you say, well, I still don't see the problem. Here's the issue now. So the more that state of mind increases and continues, then when he says, my home, my car, you know, my family, what happens is that the family slowly don't see the family as their family anymore. It's his family. They don't see the cars as their cars. It's his car, you know. It's his children. It's his wife, you know. So the I becomes so predominant. The we is dead. The we is gone in all of that. So let's say, you know, problems start to happen. Let's get to some more deep stuff. Problems start to happen, right? The successful man begins to crumble. So yes, you're the successful man now. How come you didn't tell me, right, that we were behind on the payments for the new condo, the new yacht? How come you didn't tell me we reneged on the loan that we're supposed to get to purchase my private jet? How come you didn't tell me we've racked up bills of millions for just home utilities and home care? How come you didn't say any of these things to me? Well, it's not their problem. It's not that important to them. Guess what? It's his cars, it's his businesses, it's his houses, his condos, his private jets, his planes. So what's his dreams, his ambitions? So you're saying, nah, yeah, really? You ever wonder why kids wreck their parents' brand new Bugatti? You think it's just because they want to send a message? There's some deep things going on inside there. Some really, really deep things. The possessive consciousness just is about the self. And that's where selfishness is really rooted. So why should they care? At first, they're still loving, caring family, and they try to hold it together. But the more things go into the grander scheme of the individual, male or female, seeing themselves as everything, the family sees itself as nothing really. So just leaves the bills. When the realtor calls and says something is wrong, it'll take a day or 3 or 4 or 5 before they pass that information on, because it's really not important. They've reoriented their thinking to wrecking their parents' cars and, you know, racking up credit card bills, you know, because guess what? It doesn't really have an effect upon them. You get my point now? It's not just because they're trying to be bitter to their parents. It's like, easy come, easy go. There's no connection. A family in a home, and it's divided. They've got all these possessions, but do they really feel like they own them? Dad bought it. Mom bought it. Mom is paying for college. Mom is paying for my vacation. Mom is paying for this. Mom is paying for that. Mom is paying for that. So guess what? Let's buy this. Let's buy that. Let's buy this. Let's buy that. You know what? Because I never felt responsible. I don't know what responsibility is. Mom or dad never made me felt a part of the possessive enterprise. And sometimes the best thing, sometimes it's the worst thing, because sometimes the kids grow just the same. Possessive, just the same, want to come and eke out their part of the rock to cut people off, their own kids off, because cycles, right? It's the cycle. It's, you know, this negativity begets negativity. So this possessive, possession-based consciousness, you know, actualizing in the family environment, lots of time wreck the family harmony. Though there's a lot of signs of the trappings of this successful life, of this successful, possessive way of thinking. Let's look at the benefits of the beneficial. We see where, as I said before, when we understand nature and life itself, it's a harmonization. It's a complete process. It's not just Jerome right here. It's everything. There is no Jerome without all of this. It is what it is. And as such, when we understand the functions thereof, in the same scenario, right? Okay, I have one more. Let's look at it. The Spirit says before I go forward. I have one more. Yes, keep on tandem. So hold that thought. The negatives of possessive thinking in the business context. Yes, I guess the Lord wants that to go across. Sort of. It's my business. I own it. It's all about what I'm thinking, right? Where were you 25 years ago, 30 years ago when I had this vision? Where are any of you, you know? So I pay your bills, basically. I make it possible for your kids to go to school. And from the nice car you have, Jeanette, you would not have that car if it wasn't for me. So I don't know where all this is coming from. You're talking about improvements in what conditions? What conditions have I made in this company that have not benefited you? This is my company. I make sure that you're well taken care of. Right? I follow most of, if not all of these laws that they keep changing every month. Right? Keep trying to take money out of my pocket, right? But I'm here with you. Right? This is mine. Where were you? Where are any of you? You know? In a year or two, you might be moving on to some other company and taking all the great knowledge that I've afforded you and the experience right here somewhere else. You get an outlay, right? A lot of companies, it's top down all the way, right? So guess what? Hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, years upon years upon years of your labor, your time, your efforts to function is not considered. The brains of the operation with the least work but the hardest mental picture of us all is the one who owns it. So again, let's use the context of a hotel. Let's use the context of a hotel. So you got a hotel, the boss, he, she, tripping on top of themselves, maybe in a different social class or ethnic class than the workers, right? They're very much possessed into the fact that this is mine. My family is, well-to-do, and I'm trying to make my mark, right? Trying to make my importance known as to, wow, look how beautiful I am in this reality, how educated and how prosperous and highly successful I can be. So essentially, they got these highly structured, marketing schemes and ideas that is so highly sometimes wanna be elitist, because it's not really elitist, wanna be elitist or wanna be important. And so it's all this fluff without genuine substance or care. So let's say in this construct and this context of this hotel, you have this individual putting all these things in place that's really rubbing the workers wrong, because what it's really doing is cutting functionality. It's not making the workers feel like, hey, we're a part of this. You're saying to the workers, I am master, you're a servant. And worse, I pay you, servant. It is not like those times when you just work, and ain't got no pay. I'm paying you. So hence, suck it up, get with it. So this possessive construct in this reality, in the sense of just that as the example, you see now our workers begin to not work as effectively as they could, as integritiously as they could. You see workers now actually carrying a somber face, a dull mood, a solemn mood. As a matter of fact, you see that the workers really get turned off from the whole idea of serving this slave master, this bastion of evil or jealousy or just downright wickedness and control. But, the owners think that, I'm making it on the books, right? And the guests complain. But they switch the workers because they say, it just was Jane, it was just Michael, it was just Dale and we. But really, it's the possessive structure of the environment. That's why that's happening. And when the new workers come, they also get disgruntled and they also destroy the quality of the product, right? So when bring people like myself in now, you tell me, speak to the workers, and you say, tell them, some nice things, perform for them. And it's just an illusion, because of course they're dejected, they're brokenhearted, because the psychotic behavior, has really rendered them incapable of feeling a part of the experience of the institution, of this business, Even though it does pay their bills, they hate it. And in some cases, they hate these boss overlords as well. So if these people want to, major in dysfunction and suffering, continue on the possessive construct, you will not get from your employees what you truly need from them. Now let's jump into the beneficial and then we can work it back to the personal. Now, if it was a beneficial construct within the thinking, well, each time you do that seminar, that speech, you say, I want to thank you, Marv. I want to thank you, Elaine. I want to thank you, John. You've been here 25 years with me. You remember that day I called you all in, just you four. And Marv, I know your daughter's here for 15 years, but just you four, I remember back in those days, right? It was just us. And I had this idea in my head. Elaine, you were there saying, I could get it out. I just need to trust that the things will come together. And you had a little money here and a little money there. And, you guys stuck by me. And here we are. People would say we're multinational. I can see that over the years, I've learned so much. My kids have learned so much. My kids have grown up with your kids. And it has given me a sense of well-being that my last community project, I felt so at peace because I've seen so much of these kids grow up. And, I've seen some of them start their businesses. And, to have this mentorship program, I feel so, so rich in the true sense. The beneficial enterprise in that construct, now you can see that, CEO, that founder, that owner, that true owner acknowledges the benefit of the actual workforce, the people who brought the concept into function, who made it fruition, the people who have served. And, maybe Marv was probably just a janitorial worker. You understand? It's not about the position. The importance is the support, is the fact that they are a part of something that made you a billionaire. Might have made them, a few of them, a millionaire, made you a multi-billionaire, right? It might make their kids, and a few $100,000 richer, right? And the essence of it is that there's a benefit. You flow into the community because it's from the community, the wellspring of the community, that your workforce will really come from, right? And the concept and the products and services that you're working on really goes back to the community. So in the community, there are products and services which are marketed to children, to teenagers, right? To adolescents, to teenagers, to young adults, to mature adults, to senior citizens, right? So all these products, these services, all these different offerings in the context of the beneficial enterprise, right? Good workers having good treatment recommend good people. Skanky-eyed people aren't recommended by good people in a good working environment because they spoil the bunch. We call them bad apples, by the way. So the essence of it is, hey, for the beneficial enterprise in such a company situation where you're making everyone feel in the true sense that they're a part of what they truly are a part of, especially if that janitorial man gave 25 or 30 years of his life, or that woman gave 30 years of her life, you understand me? Plus her children being there as well, to her child being there. So it's a 1-2 generation enterprise. You understand me? So it's building not just morale for the owner of the rock, but it's building morale for the functionaries of the rock. In the context of the beneficial, in the personal context, yeah. When you got a home and it is our home, the kids are a part of the home. They're considered in the fabric of the home, your wife too. Not just in the statement for those who need to observe you being stately and very business oriented and diplomatic, but in the real construct of what the family is. They are a part of the home. So anything you own, not the legal argument I'm talking about, but it's concept. Anything you really own, they own. The identity of the family is one. People say, yeah, Jerome, you can say that. My wife, she turned on me so fast, she took the kids and want to take $5 million from me. I barely got going after that. You want me to talk about family, my wife and kids, like they're all so nice? It's a cutthroat world out here, son. We're going to make my life and I'm going to make myself better and do something. I ain't just want to be around here being like everybody else. I got to be a man. The essence is we all get into weird situations. But families, they are broken, they are splintered. And it's not just about the forms it takes. It's the formless, it's the concept, it's the idea of family you have. So yeah, maybe one part of the family is broken. You might go on to have more kids. Or it might be the only kids you will have, the only ex-wife you will have, or maybe you have 3, But the essence is how the family comes together. Consider them. And I know if you got divorced, you're like, I don't want my ex-wife being a part of my business. I get this. But what I'm saying is maybe if it was so good, and you did it the right way, she wouldn't be an ex-wife. Your kids wouldn't be estranged. But then I know not everyone finds the perfect mate, vice versa, male or female. So we understand how that goes. Again, it is about access to possession and benefit, or possession or benefit. So if you're about the possession and you want to own piece of this enterprise, you really want to own piece of the corona, I would suggest that you open up the very view of who you are and who is helping you in that process, who is a part of the very life you live, who helps to make this great vision that you so strongly believe in manifest. And if you try to take the praise from those living beings and put it into gadgets, property, machines, you would have lost the whole essence of what life is about. And yes, the negatives of people who just feel like life is just about floating around and not fulfilling their role. We already talked about that. Freeloading is not a part of the beneficial enterprise because all is given a gift and a talent. Artistic people make great music, make great mathematical calculation. They do awesome things. So not even those who might be considered, malformed amongst us or, handicapped in some way or challenged in some way, they still play their part. There is no freeloading in the beneficial enterprise. It's a cosmic law. We all fulfill a role. So for those who think that freeloading are just expecting things to just pop out of the sky and drop out of, auntie or mommy or granny's pocket or granny's wallet, or prey on our innocence, or it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to fulfill. So yes, some of you are saying, well, what am I going to do? Well, I can tell you one thing. You can start by cleaning that house, cutting that lawn, mowing that lawn, trimming those trees that is coming close to the home. Yeah, you can tend to the garden, do something. So that little 20, 50, or in Jamaica, $2,000 that you're getting, yeah, make it worthwhile. Make your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your mommy, whoever is doing that for you feel like it's worthwhile. It's coming back to benefit the whole family. Don't take that money and leave the yard looking like, a wasteland, and leave the car dirty, leave the house dirty, yeah, and you go smoke whatever and drink whatever and come in and talk about, you're part of a good family. Come on, be wiser than that. So we got that out of the way. So as we desire, search, seek, find access, let our access to the divine law come first. That as we pursue the benefit, let us understand how we fulfill that function, first in ourselves, and then in the greater context, in the community, in whatever we do. Singing, dancing, owning a business that, promotes musical events, or, a church, or whatever it is that is a function of the beneficial enterprise, right? And if you're a part of, some highly functional, business within the community, manufacturing, what you do to link that back to, some social good, will be beneficial. So see that, you foster some greater good comes back to help you. Just like all that possessive thinking and selfishness comes back to hurt you, because that's where people rob and destroy things. Workers in these businesses, they do set up the businesses, set up their bosses a lot to murder them, to rob them, to kill them, to take things from them. You understand me? And they underwork and underperform. And wives cheat on their husband, and husbands do crazy things, cheat on their wives too when they feel that they're being emasculated, or she feels that she's been dishonored and disrespected. We do all these things in the context of these broken families, all seeking possession. So we must be very careful as we're fulfilling our roles. I say harmonize, equalize. There is nothing wrong with actualizing ownership of a piece of the reality, but it's just temporary. So don't stress yourself. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with adding value to the function of the beneficial. Okay? But remember, this is life. What you do will manifest. So don't think it's a dream, just so you know. Love, light, and blessings in all your endeavors as you are granted divine access, hallelujah, to love, truth, light, and divine liberty. Beyond being possessed by things and possessing things, that even after you're dead and gone, you're still haunting these houses and saying it's your house and it's your car. You understand me? About being free and open to let go of these gold bullions that your ancestors are haunted by. Yeah? Freedom comes with just acknowledging what is. And what is a beautiful life. Blessings and love. Like, share, and subscribe. Share Life Television Network. Blessings and love.